Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto and a very special episode of Real Crypto where we're discussing how Bitcoin will not stop going up. And unfortunately, with Bitcoin not going up, the altcoins are going down. Although it appears right now that a lot of altcoins are catching a bid, we do see some green bars, but that's because the day is only 5 hours long. And with a day only 5 hours long, you tend to get some short-term swings, but after a few more hours, you'll start to see things probably return to normal, where these are in red and Bitcoin possibly making new highs. As a matter of fact, as we're recording this video, as you can see here, Bitcoin is putting in a nice little cup with a handle pattern. Here's a cup, and there's your handle, okay? We're in the middle of the handle forming, and if this thing plays out, we're going to get another nice run in Bitcoin. It's not what I'm trying to do. We're going to get another nice run in Bitcoin. If we can zoom out, we can see another chart pattern that played out yesterday on the breakout over 7,000 right here. Right here. There's a nice little bull flag that played out, but this is an even bigger cup with handle pattern. So even after this large run up, and yes, we're looking at a 15-minute chart. This isn't a daily chart, not even a, now it's a 2-hour chart, and this doesn't look like much. But excuse me. What we have here is a consolidation that could be another push for us to go higher. If this were to flag out even further, I think it would be a little bit stronger even. Even if it did something like that, we still have this trend line right here intact. And so we could chop sideways somewhere until a day and a half from now, and then we could still continue higher. If we zoom out to the daily chart on Bitcoin, We've been breaking out of this rising wedge, and I've been talking about this the past few videos ever since we noticed this head and shoulders pattern that was forming that eventually did fail, which is causing this massive parabolic run in Bitcoin, which should continue. Technically looking at these charts, it should continue. Let's dip down into Litecoin for an example. So as you can see here, Litecoin popped up for about 2 days. Out of this, just 2 days, massive pop. And in Bitcoin, so we're already seeing expansion past 2 days. We're into day 3 right now with some nice bases happening. Okay, so as these bases occur, as you can get these little bases, these are nice little areas of consolidation which allow people to take profits and allow the professional money to actually continue to accumulate their position at a rate that is not super expanded. Now think about it, to you and me, Bitcoin 7,000 may seem a little bit high, but if you're getting into the market and have a 5 to 10 year time horizon, which a lot of these institutions and hedge funds do, in my mind, they're going to think anything under Bitcoin, 10 or 12,000 is pretty cheap. That's kind of been the, what I've come to the conclusion of over the past day or so, is that the institutions looking to get involved, and they are seeing Bitcoin sub 10,000 as a bargain. So they're gonna do their accumulation tricks, and they're gonna play their games, and that's kind of what we're seeing here, which is why I've been so comfortable during this bull run, because that I've seen these things before. And when you notice a big volume expansion over an extended period of time, which is what we have ever since the Bitcoin 5,000 break, is an expanded volume area, that just means full steam ahead, and there's really still no end in sight to that. We have these extreme trend lines that run and break up, and even when they break down, they go sideways, they don't pull back. So this is all accumulation. At the same time, we see that pain in altcoins. Last night, if you're with us on the live stream, or even if you were just watching it yourself, you watched Bitcoin Ethereum spike down to the 280 level, and now we're consolidating in a lower bear flag, and you're seeing that time and time again. Actually, I didn't notice Ripple. Ripple had a big spike up, but was sold into. So, not very bullish action there. Litecoin came all the way down, spiked down as well, did come back nicely, but still living at the lows. IOTA just being trounced. It did get as low as 32 a number of times. And it looks like it may want to go higher here, maybe good for a trade, but pretty much every single rally in IOTA has been sold into. So I can pretty much anticipate that pattern continuing. Monero, much the same. You see the same pattern in Dash. You see the same pattern in Omisego. You see the same pattern in NEO. So when you think about things in terms of market cap, and actually NEO looks weaker than a lot of these other coins. So I know there's a lot of NEO fans out there. Don't want to burst your bubble, but I have to do my due diligence and just say that this is not healthy price action. So I'm not going to go further deep into the altcoins. There's really nothing too healthy. There have been a couple that have had sustained moves, but you've really had to be very picky and a little bit lucky with your picks in order to have sustained profits. It's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts right now with 1,000 garbage altcoins out there. But everything's moving into Bitcoin, and it really makes sense when you think about it, because if you're an institution that's going to put billions of dollars to work, and you're going to hear me talk about institutions a lot, and there's a great reason for that, because institutions will make you a millionaire. That's just a fact. If you know how to read these charts correctly and how to infer institutional accumulation and distribution, these charts can just make you a ton of money. So you have to kind of look for the footprints of the giants in the market, and those are institutions, and we're just starting to see them come in, and this volume is their footprint. So it makes sense that they're going to go into Bitcoin versus the altcoins, because when you think about it, what other cryptocurrency has more legitimacy than Bitcoin? It's worth 110, 115, 120 billion dollars at this point, and the next closest thing is Ethereum at 30, and the next closest thing is Ripple at 7. Okay, it's not even a contest when it comes to what asset institutions are going to put money into. They're going to put money to work in Bitcoin. They may dabble in these other larger altcoins, but apparently they're not going to do it right now. Okay, looks like there was a lot of bottom buying here in Ethereum, as we can see by all this large volume. And even this volume over here is pretty bullish. You see this large volume block? This large volume block right here in Ethereum. If you notice over here, things were kind of choppy. Things went downward, sloped upward here. This is just a solid block. This is, again, institutional accumulation in Ethereum at low levels. Now, there's enough people selling for them to be able to buy it at these low levels, and they're able to manipulate it down to these levels. Well, they can't do that in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is global. It's being used. It's a currency. You know, it's completely legitimate. So they have to pay up for Bitcoin, and they don't have to pay up for these other assets. So they're not going to. They're patient. They're going to take their time. They're going to accumulate the crap out of Ethereum and some of these other altcoins at these low levels. And then in time, yes, they will go higher, but that could be a number of months, maybe even a year, or maybe even up to a year from now. It's impossible to say. Those of you that are going to say, hey, Randy, it can't do that. It can't wait a year. Well, you know what? You're wrong. It can. I'm not saying it's going to. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it can. Markets can do lots of things. So if you're prepared to wait a year with cash in Ethereum doing nothing, by all means, take a position. But if that's not how you trade, then I wouldn't pretend to be a hodler if you're really not. Okay, I don't mind hodlers, but you have to understand your mindset as a trader if you're hodling. All right, so Bitcoin, massive accumulation happening all over the place. Altcoins, some accumulation, but they don't have to pump the price up in order to get the shares that they want. They can pay lower prices. Institutions are very patient. So the altcoin market will be depressed until one of two things happens. Number one, they really want more of these coins than they can get patiently. Or number two, people stop selling. And when people stop selling, they'll have to pay up for it, and then your chart will look like this. Okay? That's pretty much just how the world works. That's how the institutions work. That's how the institutions play. So once something has reached a very, very deep point of inflection, you will see things start to go up precipitously. But until then, we're kind of in no man's land. And one last thing to mention, last but not least, is Bitcoin Cash having a pretty massive run here, especially for what it is. And it's kind of a tertiary. I mean, people don't know what to make of Bitcoin Cash. I really don't either from a fundamental perspective. It's kind of last year's technology, and in technology, last year's stuff tends to go down in value quite significantly. But through this whole Bitcoin rush, Bitcoin Cash, and I don't have a chart for Bitcoin Gold up here, but very good price action in Bitcoin Cash. This is actually excellent price action. We had kind of a little cup here. We came up, had a nice pattern, and now we continued higher. If you were lucky enough to buy out of the base of this pattern, you're up, you're up 30-40%. So that's fantastic. But this is a Bitcoin derivative. This is not necessarily an altcoin, so you have to keep that in mind as well. So the Bitcoin derivative is doing very well. The altcoins not really doing well at all because they don't have to do well. So all right, there you guys go. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe if you like the video. Please like the video if you like the video. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good day.